All right, prop the mic. We're live. Missing Tom today, but we got a special guest in Proptology. Mike from Proptology back with us again, the OG for PTM. Welcome to the show, Mike.
How's it going?
It's going well. It's going well. I'm excited to talk baseball with you, but before we do, just want to say today's podcast is presented by Props.cash. We could not do what we do without Props.cash. So if you're ready to level up your prop betting game, try out Props.cash today with code PTM for 25% off your first month. Before we dive into today's slate and talk to Tim Tratt here, I'm going to ask you both guys, like, talk to me about your experience in working with Props.cash and why you use that as your preferred tool for analytics. So I'll go to you, Mike, and welcome, Tim.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, you killed that intro. So Tom might be stuck in the bullpen the rest of the season.
No, he's been demoted. He's been demoted after that. Yeah. Thank you.
No, but I mean, Props.cash. I mean, I've been using them since the very beginning. Can't say enough good things about not only the product but the people behind it. They're constantly adding tools that are going to help you with your research. Number one, it makes research not only easier but quicker. If you don't have much time, you're at work or whatever, you have a lunch break and you're trying to get your research in for the day, it makes it very easy to find numbers that would take hours otherwise. You're finding trends and finding different numbers. This year they've added the spray charts and the strike zone matchups versus different pitches, because not every pitcher is created equally. You know what I mean? So not every lefty is the same. So it's nice to see, how does this person hit, well versus lefties, and stuff like that. So versus a fastball or a slider or cutter, because every pitcher also throws a different arsenal of pitches. So constantly adding tools like that, shows that they're listening to their users, and trying to constantly improve it. And then just the back and forth with not only their media team but their management. They're always looking to improve and really invest in the people who are using their app.
Yeah, and I would echo all that. I think also the tool is really simple to use. If you read the backstory, it started as a product for school kids that evolved into a sports betting product. So it actually is real simple to use. So that's why we love it. So definitely check it out and try the trial and sign up today. So all right, Tim, we're going to talk about baseball today, Tim. So we obviously we needed an expert, because beyond wearing a Mets hat, I can't give out many picks on MLB. And I know you have a disdain for the sport. So are you okay sitting on this pod today with us?
Absolutely. Two things. One, I have a Champions League heater that, if they wait around long enough to suffer through baseball. I don't hate people who love baseball. I just have a bad relationship with it personally. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not one of those things where you don't want other people to do it. You're just like, cool, man, I love that for you. So we have that. We have some hockey. We were so close to glory last night. We profited 0.14 units, so we didn't lose. And real quick on props, I don't have my relationship with Mason Plumlee without props. I found that trend on props.cash. And so for a year straight, all I did was cash because of it. And the year prior, meeting Pete and the guys behind it, like you said, they made a tool for people who need that tool. And that's the best, the scratch your own itch. So I can't say enough nice things about them. And I have like 55 sweatshirts that they sent me. So like, just keep those coming. Yeah, exactly. Mine are all dirty right now, but I'm going to wear one later when it's clean.
All right.
Beautiful. So yeah, I will listen. Maybe I'll learn something and fall in love with baseball today.
Yeah, definitely. And before we dive into the plays, we also did our first playback watch party last night for the Mavs Thunder game, which was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. We had a bunch of guys from the Discord on. We're going to continue to do that, so make sure you head to playback.tv, sign up for the Prop the Mic channel, and we're going to continue to broadcast our podcast through there like we are today, but we're also going to do more watch parties. And the cool thing about those watch parties is at halftime, we spent the entire halftime coming up with second half plays, and I think we cashed like 90% of them. Jonesy Trends was just on fire last night with live plays. So we're going to do that again soon, so make sure you tap into that.
I was watching you guys do that, and I told you I'll jump on when hockey's over. The fucking Rangers game went to double overtime. Zib got us our point, but I literally was like, I'm gonna hop on, and then that game ended after a whole nother game, and I was like, I'm just gonna pass out. So I missed out on all those live bets, but it looked like people cashed.
That's all good. We're
Would
gonna
it be
do it again
possible to
soon.
share this to Twitter and then give them the link directly to here? Because I know yesterday we were saying Twitter was having problems, so maybe
Yeah,
that'll fix that.
exactly. We're gonna do that.
Cool.
All right. So we have, if I'm correct, in about an hour, the first game for MLB starts. Is that right, Mike?
Yeah, we got the Angels in Pittsburgh, and I'll get to that play. I have a play in that game actually, and even though I'm wearing the Pirates hat, it's against the Pirates. So, but I just wanted to touch base real quick on just this slate today. If you love the art and science of pitching, it's unbelievable arms on the mounds today. A number of guys like, Aaron Savali, Rodon, a lot of names that are hit or miss at times, but a lot of studs too. Chris Sale, Dylan Cease, Ashcraft is hit or miss. Gavin Stone has been good. Kirby's been lights out at times. There's a number of guys. Sonny Gray, Tanner Bybee gets beat up sometimes, but he can throw a lot of strikeouts. I mean, there's the rookie Jack Leiter in the second game of the doubleheader in Texas with Texas. Even guys like Chris Bassett and just a number of guys who are just fun to watch. So I have, I believe, 5 plays today, and that first one is in that first game. So I'm going Angels first 5 money line, which was plus 110 on Bet Rivers. And the reason for that is that this guy with the Angels, so Jose Soriano, he's really looked good at times. He has just a few innings here or there that seem to miss. If he can find that put away strikeout pitch, a lot of guys can get to strike 2, but it's finding that pitch at the end there that puts away batters, that really makes the good guys better and the better elite. So, but the Pittsburgh lineup is just, when they're cold, they're real cold, and and that's kind of what they've been. Yesterday, I believe there was a grand slam in Pittsburgh, but that was, I think, the only 4 runs they scored. So, I don't see that happening versus Soriano. Getting them at plus money on the money line in the first 5, if they're tied at the end of 5 innings, you push obviously, but that's why I'm going with them instead of plus a half a point, just for those odds at plus 110. But Pittsburgh's actually dead last in WOBA versus right-handed pitchers. And what WOBA is, and everybody has different opinions on stats in baseball because there's just so many. And you can honestly get, flooded down with so many different numbers that it becomes almost blinding or false gold, if you will. So what WOBA is weighted on base average. And what it takes, hitters' overall offensive value, because not every hit is created equally. So it's a stat that I've really been using for, part of the foundation of my research lately. And we've been doing pretty well with that. Pitt being dead last in WOBA versus right-handers at home is a huge number for, a team that's favored here in the first 5. And the Angels are actually top 10 versus lefties away in WOBA. Take in mind, part of that might be Mike Trout, who's not playing with them right now. But I still think they get after Martin Perez, who's on the mound, a lefty for the Pirates today.
Love that play. And now Tim Trad knows what WOBA is. So we're working on him. We're getting him
I was
closer
trying to
and
guess
closer.
what that acronym would be for, but I've already learned so much.
When I first saw the pitching lineup, I was a little afraid that Oliver Perez was on the mound. You remember Oliver Perez, right?
Yeah.
A Pittsburgh guy, a Mets guy. He was like in the league for like 40 years. So not him, but I do love this play. And like you said, this game starts in about an hour. So lock this one in. Before you're even done eating lunch, you'll have a cash because it's only a first 5 inning play. So love that one.
Is Mike Piazza still playing?
Mike Piazza plays. I think he plays for the Italian national team. Or something like that. So maybe
I like
him.
What's the most random baseball name you know?
Oh man, shit! I'm like drawing a blank. I'm trying to think of the guy that they hit the leg, like the ball through his legs for the
Bill
dude to
Buckner.
get the first.
Bill
Yeah,
Buckner.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know. because I
That's
remember
not
being
that
a kid.
random. He's pretty famous.
I know for me it is though. That was just like my dad's a Mets fan, so that was my only exposure to baseball. So maybe that's why I hate baseball because he was just miserable for most of the time.
Since 1986. Yeah.
Darryl Strawberry played for the Columbus. We had the Columbus Clippers.
Yeah.
And I've heard stories from guys in that era about how like his partying, because there's guys that played, obviously AAA that didn't become Darryl Strawberry. So that was really fun. All right, I'll shut up about baseball now. Go ahead.
No. You're going to provide some entertainment for us. So we like that.
I mean, I'm just looking at this slate tonight. I'm so excited. We have such good hockey.
Hey, wait your turn. All right.
I'm sorry. I'm just getting excited.
We're not there yet.
Hey,
all right, let's go. We got another game at 1 p.m. I think you had a pitcher play for this one, right? So it's the Tigers Guardians. A little surprised in what you're going with on this one. So give us your thoughts on that game.
Yeah, so in this one, I'm backing Reese Olson with the Tigers. Tigers are at Cleveland today. Tanner Bybee, who can, like I mentioned a little earlier, can be a lights out strikeout pitcher. Just hasn't had it a lot this year, missing spots and just at times getting beat up there. I believe. Let me pull up his home stats there, but let me look at. So Reese has been. I'm playing him two different ways, to be honest. So Reese, 1 unit to record a win, which is plus 175 on DraftKings.
Wow.
And what that means on if you look at his outs, if you could pull up his outs there, to record a win for just anybody who doesn't know, pitcher has to go 5 innings at least, finish 5 innings of pitching, so 15 outs, and has to that team has to be up when he leaves the game, and they have to remain up throughout the rest of the game. So that's why you get a lot better odds on those, because you have to take into effect how long will he last, and the bullpens if they'll keep the lead if they have it. So 1 unit on him to record a win at plus 175, and then I have 2 units on over 17.5 outs. He's covered in both home games so far this season. And one thing I look at when I'm taking players to record a win or an outplay like we are today with Reese, is also what has the bullpen done recently? And yesterday, Detroit started with Kenta Maeda only going 2 innings. So they used the bullpen up a good bit yesterday, which should mean Reese will need to go those extra outs, those extra innings. So I love him to get 6 innings here of quality baseball, and I think Detroit carries it out. Cleveland's lineup today has a few, I won't call them no names, that's disrespectful, but just it doesn't look as pretty as it could. There's a few guys with under 100 at bats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The whole bottom 5 of the lineup has under 100 at bats this season, and I just like him to get it done today versus the Guardians.
Yeah, and we're kind of getting to the point of the season where like pitch counts are getting stretched. If you look over the last 6 games, actually, I mean he's been dealing the whole season, right? 93, 89, 95, 95, 188. So he doesn't really get pulled too early. It looks like, is that right?
No, yeah, and if you look, specifically on Baseball Savant is the website that breaks down a lot of different splits and Statcast stuff. They'll show a running graph of the last however many pitches for that pitcher and their running WOBA that I mentioned earlier, and his has progressively gotten better all season long. So that's a trend that I also have included in the foundation of my research. Is just what does that WOBA graph look like? A lot of times you're not going to see a guy fall down under a 200 batting average and then shoot up to 450 the next game. A lot of times that trend kind of stays close to where it is from the last outing. So that's a good sign too for him.
Love that. All right, so we got 3 units riding on Reese Olson. Let's go for it. All right, let's move on. We got a hitter prop. I think this is for the 6:40 p.m. Eastern time game. Love this name, by the way, Ketel Marte. Tell us what you like about Marte.
Yeah, Ketel Marte is
Ketel. Sorry, I thought it was Kettle. That would have been better. Damn.
So Cattell is 2 for 5 versus Ashcraft, who is pitching. He's the righty who's pitching for Cincinnati today. And for one, this is the best ballpark for home runs today. So side note, I have a player I'm going to throw out at the end for a home run because last time I was on here, which was a couple weeks ago, we smacked that Pete Alonso home run. Yep.
Yes, sir.
So we could represented the Mets well. But I'm taking Ketel Marte's total bases today. One, because that ballpark's great for hitting today. Two is he's 2 for 5 versus Ashcraft with 2 doubles. And if you pull up his head to head, he's hitting 6 of the last 8 versus Cincinnati. I'm sorry, 6 of the last 8 in Cincinnati. And you can see there he's 11 for 15 versus Cincinnati overall.
Yeah.
I love the ballpark atmosphere today. Love the matchup versus that specific pitcher. And the fact that he's hit that well versus Cincinnati shows that he can also get after the bullpen too. So if we get just a single early, total bases is you can get 2 singles or a double will cover it for us. Whatever adds up to 2+ there. If he gets just a single early on versus Ashcraft, I think he can get there still versus the bullpen.
Love that. And we get plus money for it. So these seems like there's a lot of value in the 1.5 total bases. Usually they're plus money. And if you find the right guy in the right environment, you can get that in one swing, which is something that Tim Trad loves in other sports, right?
Absolutely. And not to talk about hockey too soon, but we have one of those tonight.
Oh, awesome. All right. Beautiful play. Now, I think your last play of the day is a parlay. Is that correct? K-prop parlay?
Yeah. Strikeouts here, 3 guys, little countdown we got going on. It was plus 212 on DraftKings. I know that was a little better than FanDuel. I didn't check every site, but plus 212 on DraftKings. And we got Dylan Cease first for 7 strikeouts. Dylan Cease with the Padres going up against the Cubs in Chicago. So we have the Cubs are bottom 10 in strikeouts versus righties at home. And that's 125 out of 455 at bats. So as you can see there, Dylan hitting that pretty consistently this season. He's hitting all 4 away games, and I like him to take care of work there. The reason I'm doing this kind of parlay here is I think while there's a lot of good pitchers on the mound, some of their bat matchups versus the teams versus them, righties at home, lefties away, it doesn't mix well with some of these good pitchers. So this is a good way to get involved in some of these good arms. But that's why I like Cease there in Chicago. So that's for 7 strikeouts. And then the next one there is Sale, Chris Sale with the Atlanta Braves for 6 strikeouts. And this is a little bit of a revenge game. You got Chris Sale going up against his former team in Boston. And he's hitting all 3 home games this season with 6 strikeouts there.
He's hitting all 6 games, period, right?
Yeah, he's hitting all 6 games so far. Great arm that looked good during spring training. If he can keep it going, kind of not a bounce back year for him, but him playing back to his full potential this season. And Boston again is bottom 3 versus righties away, and with 154 strikeouts out of 550. So another good addition there. And then so we got 7, 6, and then we have Singer for Kansas City. And he's that's where we're going with 5 strikeouts. So you can see there he's hitting 5 out of 7 overall. Milwaukee is bottom 2 versus righties away, and he's hitting his last 2 home games. If you look at his season at home so far this year, so you can see there he's hitting his last 2. But if you scroll down, another great part of Prop Stock Cash is if you could add the at-bats, or the pitches, how many pitches he's thrown. I believe that is right there.
Yep.
So you can see anytime he's went over 90, he's hitting that mark for us. So that's a good addition. So we got Dylan Cease at 7, Chris Sale at 6, and Brady Singer at 5.
I love that. I love that. And honestly, you could even, I'm always throwing out the more conservative approach. But you could also take Singer down to 4 and still get a plus money play on that as well, right? If you wanted.
Yeah, yeah, and that's normally something I look at with strikeouts too. You know, you'll see a lot of my plays where I take 5+ strikeouts and that team's money line to win. If it's a good matchup,
Yeah.
and definitely if you feel better playing it safe, go for it. But the key thing there that has me okay with going 5 instead of 4 is that fact that Milwaukee's top 2 or bottom 2, however you want to look at it, they're the second worst team in strikeouts versus righties away. So that's enough for me to be okay with the 5 instead of the 4 there.
No, I mean, it makes sense. And if you think the game will be competitive, he'll go deep, right? And get that 90 plus pitch count again, and probably sail over this by a good margin. So love those plays, and I love the value we get at, what was it, plus
212.
plus 212. That's awesome.
And then the last one I'm adding there at the end is just that the home run play for today. I'll add this to my channel as well in your Discord, but I don't normally make those regular plays just because home runs, so many things can happen. Like I said, there's so many good arms on the mounds today, but the MLB will, for those conspiracy theorists, they'll probably juice the balls today, and you'll see home runs all day long. But I'm going with Christian Walker. Again, that was the best hitting ballpark for home runs today, or hitting overall. And Walker, I believe, was right around. Let me see here. I know DraftKings has him at plus 320 for a home run. So,
Yeah.
with that ballpark and versus Ashcraft is one of those pitchers who can be lights out, but he misses spots. And that's all it takes sometimes for batters like Christian Walker. Miss that spot a little bit, leave it over the zone too much. And, Walker's taking that out in a friendly hitting ballpark.
Love that. Really good value too. What are your thoughts on playing like a home run prop versus 4 total bases?
Yeah, I mean, 4 total bases is just a little, safer because you can get there multiple ways. So I know, I think Jonesy does that a lot, right? He'll have a lot of 4+ bases, and that if a guy's going to get after a pitcher or the bullpen sucks, um, you know, or maybe you look at Ballpark Pal and see that the home run percentage for the weather today in that ballpark specifically, because certain ballparks are hitter friendly and some are pitcher friendly. So all that comes into account. But you can get to 4 total bases with 2 doubles. If you can get there many ways. So that's the only decision making there between the two is, Christian Walker, for example. Christian Walker is probably much more likely to get 4 total bases through a home run because he's not that quick. A guy like Ellie De La Cruz, who can turn a single into a double real quick, that might be a time you go 4 total bases instead of a home run.
Yeah, that's really good advice. The odds aren't significantly different. This is just an estimate from Props Like Cash, but we're looking at maybe like a plus 280 versus for 4 total bases versus a plus 333. Walker, for example, has cleared the home run in 17% of games, and he's cleared the total bases in 19% of games. So it's really not that different for a guy. Really good point by you. It looks like they're almost all the games where he did get 4 total bases, they were home runs anyway. But yeah, a guy with speed who can turn a shot off the wall into a double or a triple, that could be really good value. So great advice.
Yeah, and home runs are just, if you're trying to have a little fun with it too, it's kind of like first basket in NBA. You know what I mean? Like it's just a small window of baseball that you're actually tuned into, but when you hit it, it's exciting.
Oh yeah, for sure. Can't wait for playback to get some MLB up there so we can watch some no run first innings. We could watch some home run props. So all right, so excellent set of plays. Get those locked in. Like I said, the first one, the Angels first 5 money line is starting at 12:30 Eastern time. So make sure you lock that one in. Mike, thank you very much for your MLB picks. We are going to switch over to Tim. Tim, you got to run in 5 minutes, or you got more time?
Yeah, but
All right.
I can get her done.
Let's go lightning round for NHL and ML and soccer. I mean,
yeah, we have a Champions League second leg today. If Bayern does advance, we'll have an all Bundesliga final, which is for some of you a different language, but it will be awesome. Tonight, or I guess at 3 p.m. Eastern, Real Madrid and Bayern Munich play. Harry Kane, Vinicius Jr. They're the two guys that are going to be involved. I'm keeping it very simple with this one. We're taking one shot on target each. There's a ton of ways you could play this. Bayern needs to score. Real Madrid needs to score. When they need to score, these are the guys they look to. So that's pretty straightforward. Should be in the minus 125, depending on where you get it. I grabbed it on 365, which had the best odds when I checked it. I haven't looked at FanDuel yet. So we'll hit that at 3. And then starting tonight, we have 2 more NHL playoff hockey games. Last night went exactly to script. We still got the goals early on. We got our main smack, and then we missed that long shot we put out by 1 point, which was a bummer.
You were up late waiting for that one, right?
I really was. But tonight we got some beauties. So let me just get into this real quick. I don't need you to pull anything up. I'll just tell them what we're looking at. Early game, we got Boston against Florida. Similar situation to soccer. Like when you're in the playoffs, the Stars have to score. Matthew Tkachuk is their man. He's got 9 straight games of points. I love him tonight. You mentioned Pasta last time. Again, he's their guy. There's a couple other guys like you've heard me mention Barkov, Alexander Barkov, and then Brad Marchand. I'm going to keep it really simple tonight, and we're just going to hammer Pasta and Tkachuk, the 2 studs on both teams.